My name is Savannah Pyatt, and this is my name is Savannah Pyatt, and this is my presentation on tourism and the sand flea population. Research, I wanted to do something close enough to me but also interesting. I live about 5 minutes away from Beach Access 7, and Beach Access 56 is right across the street from where I work. I decided since Panama City Beach is a location built for tourism, I wanted to see if beach organisms were affected by this. According to the GDRC.org Environmental Impact of Tourism, tourists and suppliers, often unwittingly, can bring in species like insects, wild and uncultivated plants, and diseases that are not native to the local environment that can cause enormous disruption and even destruction of ecosystems. So after reading that, I wanted to go to the beaches at night to look for the most abundant organisms that I could find, and that was sand fleas. So, do sand fleas populate areas with less tourism more? Are the sand fleas bigger in that area with more tourism? Due to natural selection, I believed there to be less sand fleas in Beach Access 56 than in Beach Access 7, and they will be bigger, significantly bigger, in Beach Access 56 than in Beach Access 7. And that would be due to Beach Access 7 being more residential, and for context, where I work is Gulf World Marine Park, which is a tourism-based area right across the street. I feel like there'd be more tourism there. Into that topic, Beach Access 7 is closest to my house in a more residential area with houses and only 5 spots around. Beach Access 56 is right across the street from where I work, which is a tourist attraction, like I said, with hotels around that, and they are about really tall. They're as tall as a skyscraper. And there are shops everywhere you look. Oxford University's article, Wildlife Tourism Affecting the Animals It Targets, they said previous studies have shown that wildlife tourism can change behavior of animal species by altering their habitats or eating patterns. After seeing this, I studied sand fleas due to their abundance. Beach Access 56 will obviously have more people than Beach Access 7, so I chose these two locations for the study. I used a transect and plot hybrid method. With that 165-foot path, I stopped 4 times every 41 feet. I searched within a 2-foot radius of each of those 4 plots. I then measure each found sand flea from head to tail in centimeters. If my hypothesis is supported, the sand fleas in Beach Access 56 should be bigger and harder to find than the ones in Beach Access 7. Beach Access 7 should have a wider range of size and diversity. And in that picture, you can see how we were measuring them. I had scissors that were reading in centimeters. We were catching them in this little box, and we were measuring their size. And you can see a big one next to a little one. Now, I'm pretty sure that was actually at Beach Access 7. For my result, I have a chart and 2 tables. These are all about the sizes of these sand fleas. So when looking at the chart, you can see that I have bigger sizes at Beach Access 56, which is part of my hypothesis. That is what I assumed, but it's not by much. Even in the second plot, you can see that Beach Access 7 actually had bigger sizes than in the second plot of Beach Access 56. The tables basically tell the same thing. The numbers are so similar that it is only barely, Beach Access 7 is only barely surpassing Beach Access 56. Sorry, the other way around. Beach Access 56 is only barely surpassing Beach Access 7 in size. So there is not enough to support my hypothesis. It is showing what I assumed, that Beach Access 56, based on my data, is showing that the sizes are going to be bigger and have less of a range than Beach Access 7. There's just not enough. They're too close in number, and I think that has to do with my area, like how close they are together. Beach Access 7 and Beach Access 56 are only about 20 minutes away from each other. So I feel like that's where my issue is. My charts and or my chart and my tables explain this with all of the like for example the sample mean. You can see that between the two, they're very similar. The only number that is slightly off is Beach Access 7. Plot 4 has 1.95. They're so similar that it is just not significant enough to conclude a supported hypothesis, so it negates my hypothesis. About the results. Even though my hypothesis was negated by my data, that does not mean I was 100% wrong. More tests. Other factors could have altered my findings: seasons, water and weather conditions, and many more factors. My data patterns slightly support my hypothesis, but only ever so slightly, not enough to say my hypothesis is valid. An alternative hypothesis could be there could be less sand fleas in high tourism areas than in low tourism areas in the colder months versus the warmer months. Some ecological factors that could have altered my data might be water conditions, weather, or maybe an algae bloom that we had recently. We've also had crazy weather conditions recently. Less people due to beach closures might have affected this too, due to storms and rip currents. To conduct this research again, I would probably do it in a different season, and I also would probably do my locations farther apart. Like I said, it was only 20 minutes apart. Maybe if I tried 30 to an hour apart, that would probably show a bigger difference. I would also refine my hypothesis to make it slightly broader than just tourism, for example, tourism during summer or fall. But I did have two of my references that both shared similar hypotheses like mine. So Science Daily had a quote in their article about this similar topic. Previous studies have shown that wildlife tourism can change behavior of animal species by altering their habitats or eating patterns, like I had said earlier. How those changes affect the health of an individual, animals, or animal populations is unclear. This supports my research, although, as they had said, it is unclear how it changes organism populations, and that is mainly what I was studying. Anderson et al. With the National Laboratory of Medicine has more results closer to what my hypothesis was, but my study did not prove the same results. Our results provide, this is their quote, our results provide quantitative evidence that the abundance and richness of non-native species are significantly higher in sites where tourist activities take place than in control sites. The pattern was consistent across terrestrial, freshwater, and marine environments across a variety of vectors. Example, horses, hikers, yachts, and across a range of taxonomic groups. So their study went differently than mine, and I again think it was my timing and my location. So I think that's where I went wrong, and that's something I would change for next time. And lastly, these are all my references. I did have a couple of sites in some of those slides that didn't seem to pull up the entire reference, so they're all right here. And thank you for listening.